Hey everyone, Duane here.
And I'm Gavin.
And he's Gavin, and we're with Bronco Wild Outdoors. And tonight, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're doing this little thing we call Extreme Bronco Live. Man, it's been a cool week. So today, Gavin and I started working on revamping our garage. So we're getting ready to do getting our garage ready and kind of moving some tools around and getting some stuff ready to start tinkering with the Bronco and some other vehicles as well, right?
Yeah.
What are we going to get start? Let's see. The next big project is the Mustang, the 66.
hmm
So what's the goal? We were talking to somebody tonight about we're going to fire it back up. We had to do some engine work to it, so it's going to be pretty cool. But the Bronco, we're going to sort of do some bolt-on stuff, nothing major. We will be doing a oil change video, and I know there's like a gazillion of them out there now. However, we are going, let's add some comments here. And by the way, if you're checking us out, please, if you haven't already, if you're just tuning in, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to, what is it, 1600? I think it's 1600. Let's go check it out. We're trying to get to 1600 by the end of today, actually, midnight Eastern Standard Time. Would it be absolutely awesome? But we're getting our garage positioned, getting some stuff moved around so that we can start working on the Bronco, right?
Yeah.
And when we say work on it, doing some bolt-on type stuff and small modifications. See where we're at on that, by the way. But the old Mustang, by the way, is getting ready to get some major surgery. All right. So yeah, we're just shy of 1600. We would love to break that. So if you're checking us out for the first time, maybe hit the subscribe button. We have really good videos here, some really good content, and some pretty cool stuff coming up as well. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the Everglades Bronco. Now we did a video on that, which is we uploaded today. Gavin and I have been talking a lot about this thing. And is it the color that Ford's been pushing on this thing, the eruption green, or what is it about the Everglades that's just interesting to us? What do you think? Here, talking to the mic, brother.
What's interesting to me
Yeah.
is the snorkel that goes through the passenger side A pillar.
So, and very good. So it goes up. Well, actually, it runs up the A pillar, right, on the passenger side,
Yeah.
and then where does it go into the fender? Is it toward the cabin or more toward the front? I think it's more toward the cabin, right?
Yeah.
Better yet, let's hit some pictures here. And by the way, these pictures are courtesy of the Bronco Nation. In the end of this video, there'll be credit there mentioned to them, but they have some obviously really good content, and they did a really good story on this last week. I think it was Thursday. Was it Thursday? Maybe it was Thursday, or could have been Friday. Time flies. But the let's go ahead and add this here.
And congratulations, Lamb.
All right, here we go. No way. I have a 66 Mustang also going to have work on. Yeah. Hey, so we have, and you can see the roof of it right here. Actually, let's do this. Actually, the car is so cool. We wrote a book about it. So
should I go get the stand?
Nope. No, we're good. Thanks anyway.
We normally have a stand right
Yeah,
there,
we normally have a stand. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Obviously we're Ford fans. We like all types of vehicles though. I mean, really do. And, but partial to Ford, I guess. But yeah, I have 66 Mustang GT Coupe. It was originally green with white stripes at the bottom. And when I saw it when I was 13 years old, it was black and gold. I got the car when I was 17, sold it at late 18, got it back when I was 27, and now the car is with us forever. So anyway, hey, let's go ahead and add this. See if we can add this there. So here's what we've got. So this, like I said, these pictures are courtesy of the Bronco Nation. So thank them very much for posting this article the other day. Very well written, with the information that we know. So Ford is not going to give everything out there on the Bronco or the Everglades Bronco. But what is really cool, Gavin, is this is the first ever, from what I understand, first ever factory winch and snorkel. Isn't that cool?
Like combined?
Yeah, well, either combined or either or. I don't really know that. I mean, I'm sure somebody could, mention to us in the comments, but I think it's I think it's the first ever factory winch. I mean, there's always been accessories for winches, right? Maybe there was something out there, but I mean, definitely the first for Ford.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty cool. So let's go through some of these pictures. Now, we did add one from the video. So we did a video earlier, and if you watch that video, you'll see some of the same pictures. We did add one, though, and I actually forgot to add it into the video. But in this particular Everglades Bronco, you'll see it's the eruption green, which I haven't seen this color in person, and I'm hoping maybe somewhere like Supercell East we'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
What am I saying? In January, we're going to have one. Our second Bronco will be here mid-January.
Yes, so we'll see eruption green before East.
And we have breaking news on that, by the way. So if you're waiting on a 22, I did have a build date for our second Bronco on December 20th. And it actually has been pushed back twice. And so today I received the email. I'll say today, I woke up today and it was there. So sometime overnight, I got an email that said December 7th or January 7th. So it'll be built on January 7th now.
Okay.
So it'll be late January now.
Yeah.
So I said mid. I did forget that I got that email. So if it's going to be built on the 7th, we're looking at end of January, the earliest. And that also depends on travel and stuff like that. So the eruption green Bronco, it's very well. Now the wheels on this, by the way, I've seen a lot of aftermarket wheels that are similar. I haven't seen exactly these wheels, obviously, but they're very similar. What do you think about these wheels, Gavin? What do you think? Pretty cool?
Yeah.
I think I can get you a better picture here. There we go.
Yeah, that looks...
Now, what's interesting about this picture right here is notice the fender wells. So you don't have the half circle.
Yeah.
It's sort of
a weird.
It's not square. A lot of people are mentioning, well, it's the square fenders. Well, I mean, close enough, right? But you can see, and I don't know if the cursor is going to show up on this live here or not, but you can see behind it, say toward the driver's side door, it's a pretty steep drop. It's almost flat across the top of the wheel, and then it drops down into the front. So having that different design is pretty cool. Now, what I like about it is the fact that it, Ford's obviously changed some stamping on some metal here, right? So the front fenders or rear quarter panels they're a little bit different than what we have in the basic 21 and 22 Broncos. So the Everglades Bronco, I think, is going to bring a couple different things. Obviously, you have the different fender wells, the shape there. You have the factory installed winch, which is really cool. I mean, you go to the dealer, pick it up, it's done for you. That's a very cool thing, I think. And also the snorkel. So you like the snorkel. You like the way it looks, right?
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned to you in the performance side of the snorkel, that grill that's at the top. Now I say grill because airflow reasons, but the air intake, the black part at the top.
Yeah.
So I think probably right off the bat that someone in aftermarket is going to increase that surface size because, manufacturers have to meet a lot of strict requirements as far as as far as decibels, sound decibels, and efficiency, period. So airflow is going to matter. I think aftermarket has a little bit more flexibility, not a whole lot anymore, but a little bit more flexibility to actually install a bigger grill to get more air through that snorkel into that engine. I think you're going to find that's going to be very important because if you look at the size of the louvers, the grills have something called a face value, and that's the flat surface that air can't pass through. That grill has a lot of face value. So I think that's going to be a big deal. Hey, and let's go through the chats here. Terrence Mooney, hello, how are you? Mike Max, nice to see you chatting, commenting there. Overlanding for fun. Hey, everyone. Ian Gonzalez, hey, how are you? And by the way, with that Mustang, that's pretty cool. We're going to have to talk about that later. But I appreciate everybody being here tonight. So the Everglades Bronco is, like I said, it's very cool for the fact that the factory winch and the snorkel and the fender wells, but there's something else. Now, I may be saying it wrong, but the slide out tailgate, right? In the back, where the storage bin that we're thinking about adding? The storage bin that go in the back cargo area of the Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is very similar to that, but it's a little bit shorter. But what it is you open the swing gate and you pull out this sort of tailgate. So it's somewhere to sit stuff, or, you can sit on yourself. You can just sit down on it. You can stand on it to help tie something down onto the hardtop.
That's strong.
Yeah, it's 600 pounds. It holds up to 600 pounds.
Because that table only holds 25.
Well, the table, though, is on the swing gate. That's just for food prep.
And that's a little string. That's 2 little strings holding it.
So let's see. Worst case scenario, you go out in the country, have a good time. You fry up a turkey. It's 26 pounds. It's barely going to fit.
And then plus
but seriously, what are you going to do? You're going to make some sandwiches, put some small stuff, a coffee pot, something like that.
Maybe
it's not
some
a big
eggs.
Yeah. But the slide out tailgate is for people to stand on, sit on, and of course heavier payload to sit on that.
And could you cook on that?
But here's the thing. If you now that's a factory, from what we hear, that's a factory installed option. Here, let's get this off. So that's a factory installed option. That'll be something late 22 that's available. So here is where it's going to be like threading a needle. If you have a current order and you want a priority code 99 for a Everglades Bronco, pricing's coming in Q1 22. So the first quarter 22, we're going to know some pricing and a little bit more as far as the options. I guarantee you there's going to be stuff added that we haven't yet seen on this. However, what do you do if they start to produce them? Will they produce them without that slide out tailgate, or is that going to be standard in the Everglades? Supposedly, I think it's supposed to be standard.
Yeah.
But we also know how things have changed, right? Because of commodities.
Yeah, it should be standard. I mean, you should be able to have the option.
That's right.
Like, if I'm not going to be doing that stuff, I'm just going off-roading, no camping, none of that, just going off-roading, I would choose not to, because, save money.
Right. Well.
But if you are going to be carrying stuff, camping, like resting on trails and stuff, you can't be sitting on a 25-pound max payload, or not payload, max weight.
Max weight on it. Hey, we had a couple comments here. So Mike Max, you said weight on the tailgate, it would be on Ford Performance. So I was watching a video, live stream on the Bronco Nation, where they had a few different people on there. And one of the people that was on there is Esteban. And I don't want to say I'm not going to quote him. I'm just saying that I think I understood it was going to be a factory only option, meaning when you order the Bronco, I don't know if it'll be standard, but it'll be orderable from the factory. So it doesn't look like a dealer installed option. At least that's the way I understood it. If I'm wrong, sorry, I apologize. I don't mean to give any bad info. That's what I took from the video. Now, can something change, or has something changed since that video? It's possible. I don't really know. So there again, this is kind of moving kind of quick. Airplane Mike, hello, how are you? Lauren Douglas, hey, how are you? So here's what I'm looking at, right? So there's a lot of moving parts. And I had somebody comment early on one of our videos, and they said that, here we go with another trim level, but they still don't have their Bronco. And I want to speak to that as a business owner myself. There again, I'm not going to make any excuses for anything. It is what it is, right? This is our reality. But there's two sides to this, I think. One is we have the commodity issues, we have the labor, we have all that stuff. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
But there's also the fact that, the Bronco brand works off of momentum. And I think that right now, a lot of people still don't have their Broncos. I mean, I don't know exactly the numbers, but from what I've seen, if it's correct, we're under 30,000 built with 120 or 30,000 orders. That's a huge deficit, right?
So we basically have 100,000
basically to go, right? So I understand there's a lot of people waiting, but you have to think about after that order satisfied, then it would be hard to say, okay, let's drum up more interest in the Bronco. I think what you have to do is you have to think ahead, think forward. most businesses you're looking 6 months, a year down the road. I think they're probably looking at 23s really, and they're starting to look at what can be done in 23s. But Ford, think about this, in 22 will actually have 12 months of production.
Yeah.
Now 21, what did we have? A half a year of production?
Yeah.
I mean,
less than half a year.
Less than a half. Well, a little bit, maybe 6 or 7 months, right?
Yeah.
And then if you count the plant shutdown, so how many times the plants was shut down?
Yeah, it's gonna be less than a
so
year.
Maybe it was 6 months or less, and not
less
7.
Less than a half.
Right, less than a half. So, so think about the fact that how many Broncos were built, and if as long as we don't have any new craziness going on in the world, and you look at a full 12 months of production, and the fact that commodities in certain things are freeing up a little bit better, maybe not in others. What would you say? 60, say 70,000, 80,000 Broncos built in 22?
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, right? I mean, consider the first year, and consider a short year, and consider shutdowns and commodity issues. If you were running for 6 months and you've produced about 30,000 Broncos, I mean, just double that, maybe a little bit more. So that's why I'm saying maybe 70,000.
Yeah.
And I have a prediction about this Everglades thing, and stick around just a minute. We're going to finish talking about this, but I do have a prediction that you're going to see that name in other places. It's just a hunch, and we'll see if I'm right. I don't know. Don't know. All right. So anyway, so the eruption green is what we think about when you look at the Everglades Bronco, because that's everything we've seen so far has been eruption green. There's going to be other colors as well. There is a color out there, Gavin, that I can't think of the name, but it's something like sandstone tan or sandstone brown or something maybe like that. Sort of that earthy, yeah, maybe that earthy brown. Because think about it, there's two types. There's iconic silver, there's carbonized gray, right? Area 51, cyber orange. Now these are 21 colors, right? Rapid red, which we know is not here for 22. Antimatter blue, which is not here for 22. Race red, white, black. What else?
Hey, we can order, or we ordered a green.
Well, eruption green.
Eruption green, so that's a 21.
No.
Wait, what?
That was 22.
What?
Well,
I don't understand.
You did a video on it. You do it. Now, remember when we had to convert our priority code 99 and 21 at the end of October? And remember, I freaked out because we got our wild track built, our schedule. We have our VIN, right, for the wild track. And then the next day we were able to change it to another Badlands. So, but anyway, go. All right, hey Flo, thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. Every one of you that's ever contributed to this channel, I appreciate it, because we're putting it right back into this and trying to do really more. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The super stickers are awesome. Super chats are awesome as well. I do appreciate that. All right, let's start back over here. Flo, why would Ford try to come out with another Bronco when they can't come out? Yeah, and I think we were just talking about that. So think about, this is one of those jacked up analogies that I'll give you, but I'm in the real estate business. So think about if we need houses to sell, permitting process starts a long way in advance, right? Financing and all that good stuff. And so if we need houses on the market next, say, what is it, December right now, maybe next June, we better start breaking ground right now, right? And so, but there again, we have a housing shortage, but we're looking at 6 months down the road. Well, in the automotive world, I think that, and I can't speak for anyone at Ford or any other car company, but they're having to think 6, 7, 8 months down the road, next model year down the road. And I think that after you satisfy that initial order surge, that the marketing brought a lot of us into it, right? Wouldn't you say that you need to start thinking about the next big thing to keep the numbers rolling, right? Because then you have investors, you have all kinds of parts and pieces that you want to make sure that you're continuing to push the numbers through. So I get it. I have a Bronco. So like before that, I was the same way. I understood it, but I didn't like it. it's easier for me now that I have a Bronco to say, yeah, it's okay. But I'm just looking at the numbers and saying if there was 130,000 orders and they've only built 30,000 or 28,000 or whatever the numbers were, this is numbers that I saw last time. That's, man, they've got to knock some numbers out in 22. And it's probably going to be into 23. So unless something changes, I'm sure they have something else going on, maybe another shift. Who knows what's going on, but I think they'll be good. So anyway, Christopher said, I just sold my 2015 Mustang GT to Vroom for 33,000 in May, 8,000 more than I paid for it 2 years earlier. Isn't that amazing? And so I will tell you, there is a local dealer in town that has. Hey, Gavin, come on over. Help me out here, brother. Don't say the name of the dealer because they're not our dealer. They're not our favorite dealer.
No.
What is the was that a Badlands non-Sasquatch that was 92,000?
Yeah.
And what was the 81 or 82,000? Was that another Badlands?
I think it was an Outer Banks non-Sasquatch.
Maybe an Outer Banks, and then they had a Big Ben there for 70,000.
Yeah.
Right. So they had like 70, 80, $90,000.
And we have a fully loaded Badlands Sasquatch, and we paid $59.60.
59,000, right? Just shy of it. So and by the way, thank you once again to our great Ford dealer who is awesome people here in Southeastern Virginia, Win Ford and Volvo. They're great people, and they do have the internet sales as well. So, hey, just what it's worth, look them up. So anyway, I'm just looking at those Broncos sitting on those lots for 3 months. And so, Christopher, going back to you sold your Mustang for 8,000 more than you paid for it 2 years earlier. Somewhere in between you being paid 8,000 more for that and a new Bronco being marked up $40,000, there's, somewhere there's a sweet spot in there, right? People are going to pay more because they need a newer vehicle. I think the average life of not the average life, but the average vehicle on the road age-wise is 12 or 14 years old, which doesn't sound like that old.
How old was the Expedition?
Oh, that one was old. Man, we ran the heck out of that sucker. But that number has gone up it's gone up for the last 2 or 3 years for a fact. So the question becomes all right, there's new Broncos coming online. Ford's going to get caught up. There is some inventory being built, right? So some of the Broncos are sitting there. Now, typically if we see a green sticker, special order, blue would be stock. But of course, as you know, there's been several special order Broncos shipped with blue stickers. So who knows what's going on with that. Yeah. But when you go to a dealer and you look at them, there was one yesterday in another dealership. I went and bought a oil filter. I didn't tell you that yesterday. And they had a stripped down, what was that, a Big Ben? Black Diamond. They had a Black Diamond that didn't have a whole lot of extras, and it was 20,000 over sticker. And it's been in there for about a month. So I think what's happened is, I think the ceiling on these Broncos have been met, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So I think the markup on the Bronco, and this is average, everyone's going to know a story, that's a Bronco sold for more here or there or less or whatever. But I think that you're going to find that 5,000 is probably going to be the average dealer markup, the average, but there's always that 20, 30. Well, in our area, there's the one with $40,000 market adjustment. I don't know. And by the way, I love people making money, but we're talking about ordered Broncos. When you order a Bronco, you should not be subject to that. Yeah. If it's a stock, if somebody backs out,
hold on, guys.
Go tell the dogs to hush it. Yeah. But if you've ordered a Bronco, there shouldn't be any surprises. You should know when you order what you're going to be paying, and then hopefully the questions are being asked. So anyway, I just think that you can get 8,000 more for your 2015 Mustang, and then I also drive by a dealer and see a $40,000 markup on a Bronco, and it's been there a month. So I think really what's happening here is I think the ceiling has been found in the Bronco. Maybe the peak, and this is my own belief, maybe the peak in the price has been maybe it was August or September of this year. Um, and we'll see, because as these numbers of these units get built and more end up on the used lots for whatever reason, there again, there's market saturation that is coming, but we're far from it because we're not even all the way through the order. So let's get past that. Mike Max, yours is green. I hear you. I hear you. Let's see, where are we at here, Gavin? Let's go back through some of these. Mine is on a train this week, supposedly. Yeah, I hear you. Mike Max, what part of the country are you in? Northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest? Just curious. Yep. And let's see here. Yeah, I'm just still waiting. Market value is 20,000 for Broncos. Dealership should not charge over sticker ordered units. Yeah, and I'm going to 60. That's awesome. I'm glad you found a dealer like mine. Now, if someone backs out, or for whatever reason they end up with a unit, yeah, there's a little bit more MSRP on it. I get it, but it's not 30 grand. I mean, that's just, Sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments here. Yep. 2.3 Big Ben 2.3 Sasquatch for 55,000. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just there again. I'm just thankful I haven't had to have that rodeo,
Yeah.
with having to deal with that, and also the secondary expenses. Where you at?
Mike Max's Bronco is getting built tomorrow, and also, Lan. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your So Lan. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your last name. I'm sorry. So he's picking up his tomorrow.
Yeah, Mike Max is on the train supposedly. yeah,
Yeah.
I know how it goes.
And
hey, by the way, I don't know how many different train companies move the Ford product, but I know we had Norfolk Southern, and we were able to track our delivery, which was probably, a sign that I need a hobby, which I guess this is our hobby, right?
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool to be able to watch. We did this live, we didn't do it live here, but we watched the live stream of the Bronco rolling through Roanoke, Virginia with our, we knew our Bronco was on the train. Of course, you couldn't see it, and it's in the car, but I thought it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. We're not doing all this cool, exciting stuff. We're watching trains live on Saturday night. But
well, hey, it was fun.
I'm sorry, Gavin.
And we were also watching it going to the fair.
Yeah, we went to a care.
A care?
Yeah, I actually work at this dealership. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But look, and I don't want to make this live stream tonight about, pricing and stuff like that. I just think that on ordered units, when you're sort of the middle man, you should just honor it, and that should be it. So anyway, moving on. So can we go back to these pictures here real quick?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do a full screen on these pictures here of the Everglades Bronco, and we're going to talk about a few things, and I'd love to know your comment. And like I said in the beginning, thank you to the Bronco Nation. These pictures are from their website. They have a really good article over there. Head on over and check it out.
So let's go back to the first one.
What are you doing, man?
I was going back to the first one because you're on the last.
What do you think, Gavin? Right here, this winch, pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So this should be the modular bumper with the Warren 10,000-pound winch on there.
Yeah.
I don't know exact cost. I'm thinking it's $3,500 if I'm not mistaken. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I may be totally wrong. But the snorkel right here, and I don't know if my cursor's showing up on this. I might need to do something different in StreamYard setting, but up the passenger side A-pillar, and you'll see that little bit of black at the top. That is the intake or the grill or where the air inlet for the snorkel. And then that snorkel goes down and it ties into, and this answered my earlier question, Gavin, this ties into the rear of the passenger side front fender.
Yeah.
So what I would imagine, we need to pop our hood and look, what is back there?
I don't know.
You don't know. So
Who
I think
knows?
it probably goes into the engine compartment and then ties into the side of the airbox, or does it go through the fender and then tie into? Because I don't know if Ford wants to start revamping filter boxes and things like that.
Yeah.
So this may actually go in the fender itself, which would be amazing to see it, because our fenders unbolt on these Broncos.
Yeah.
That would be kind of like Mad Max-ish.
Yeah. So
All right. So the signature headlights, when you look at the stance, I did say this on my video earlier, this sort of looks like the Badlands stance. You have the roof racks up here, obviously the color we talked about, but this is sort of that similar grill. Now, here's what I am looking at, and I thought about this after I did the video earlier, Gavin.
Yeah.
You see where the Bronco is blacked out here on the grill?
yeah.
So you see how the color, it's actually black, and then it's against carbonized gray. I think that's temporary. I think that right there, that black strip across where Bronco's written, I think that is probably for pre-production show purposes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking bold colored letters there. What would you say?
Yeah, like cyber orange or Badlands orange.
Well, would you think they would take a Badlands trim color and put it on this one? I don't think so.
How about if you
How about red?
doable? Yeah.
So Everglades, think of Everglades. You think green, right? Green
yeah,
and
it'll
water.
be green.
Is it going to
like
be blue? Does Florida have like a color? A state color?
Wait. It could be brown. Earth.
Could be.
That'll be hard
Yeah.
to see.
Anyway, so I think that really black strip that you see across the grill covering Bronco, just in my humble opinion, I think that's probably temporary, and that there's going to be something really cool on that. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the back of this again, and man, that eruption green is pretty awesome. You see the 35-inch tires with the custom wheels. CC, love the squared off wheel wells. I do too. I mean, I like the half round ones. I was looking at ours earlier. I just love mine. It's like, I love everything about it. But when I look at this, I do see that really cool added feature in there of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool as well. And of course, the Raptor, it's a very similar, if not the exact same design as a Raptor. So now it looks like you're going to have Raptor Everglades fenders and quarters.
Yeah.
And then everything else, right? We got, and let's see. Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap this up here. Hold on. Where are we at? Boom. There it is. That's the same picture, isn't it? What'd you put that in there twice for?
I didn't.
So it looks like they're just cruising on down the trail. I like it from this view with that snorkel. You really like it, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you think it will get old seeing that over there, like annoying after a while, or no?
Mm-mm. I mean,
I think if you're buying this Bronco, you love everything about it. You love the cool factor about it.
Yeah. It doesn't really obstruct view either. So.
Oh, by the way, the clearance, not for water on the Bronco, I forget what they call it, the actual term, is 33.5 inches. Did you know that a standard Jeep is somewhere around 30 factory?
So 30 what is
33,
the Bronco?
33.5 inches.
Factory?
Right. So think about this. What does that do with the snorkel to that number? Now, someone mentioned today on one of our videos about, well, I hope they did something different to the gas tank. I agree with that. I also think that I don't think that you're going to find, unless you went right when you should have went left. I don't think you're going to be in that deep of water, because, the water is going to infiltrate into the cab of the Bronco.
Yeah.
But I think it's for that occasional, you're mudding and you find that really deep hole. Suddenly, the intake of the engine is not below the water line. And do you know what it's called when an engine sucks in water?
Waterlogged?
Mm-mm.
No.
Hydrolocking. So that's when engines go snap, crackle, pop, and kabang.
Pop, pop.
Yep. Sounds like popcorn going on. No, but you can't compress
the bad
water.
kind.
Well, you can't compress water.
Well,
so the
yeah.
piston's coming up, trying to compress air. It's compressing water, and stuff breaks.
So
anyway, keeping the snorkel up there is really, really, really cool.
And
let's go to the next picture. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
it's my time, by the way.
Oh, you got to roll, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
and dinner.
yeah. Water fordings. Yep. So, there was something that we learned in Bronco off-roading. You want to say bye to everyone? Here.
Yeah.
Let's do this real quick.
Bye, everybody.
It's his bedtime. He's got to go. It's
No.
like 8:36, and we're not going to do this much longer. We have it's kind of some crazy stuff going on this weekend. So,
Yeah.
all right, you're out?
Yep.
All right. Well,
Bye, everybody.
he'll be back next week, but
Yeah.
don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. All right, see you, man.
See you.
So I'm going to go full screen on this here real quick, and let's just talk about the squared off or these different shape on the fender wells. So I really like it. I think it does add a little bit different design. I'm sure with the suspension travel, there was some thought about that, about how it, it's say it's higher above the tire toward the back of it as well. I don't know. It's different, I guess. And I don't know this for sure. I'm assuming based on just the pictures that I've seen. Are they the same fenders and quarters as the Raptor or the same overall design? I think something tells me that the Raptor, the fenders are actually flared out more. The fender itself, and then of course the fender flares are, but are the fenders itself flared out? So that's something that I need to find out. Hey, Mike, thanks for that. He didn't see that yet, but I'll tell him you said, see you, good night. Yeah, and so something that we learned, I started to say this earlier, Bronco off rodeo, was also about keeping the water off the door as much as possible, and you would actually push the water. It was a pretty cool concept, and we didn't have water deep enough, I don't think, when we were there, but I've seen some videos of it. It's actually pretty cool. But the problem becomes is, that's on a fixed course where the depth. What about when you're out and about and suddenly you find yourself in a hole there, and suddenly you get that slurp over the hood? It's probably not a good day. So yeah. So Kevin said the Raptor fender stuck out about a foot. Yeah. So maybe it's the same design on the fender well itself, but obviously the overall width of the fender is different as well. It's kind of hard to tell, which is why they do this camouflage on these things. It's kind of hard to tell exactly. But and there again, I haven't stared at these pictures enough to really on the Raptor to know that it's a cool vehicle. It's a trophy truck for sure. But I think when they come out, there's going to be other things about them other than the stance and the fender and the 37s and the engine. Gosh, that's already a lot. But I mean, I bet you there's going to be something else that just gives you the wow factor that makes you want to pay the extra money. Now, MSRP on the things would be reasonable, but I can guarantee you that market rate until we can buy directly from Ford is going to be probably pretty steep. So, yeah, and CC said it's a nice callback to the first gen styling. So swappable, I would say they would be. I mean, if you think about Ford is not going to revamp everything about the Bronco. There again, financially, it doesn't make any sense. But bolt on. Remember, it's cool how the fenders bolt on and the quarter panels bolt on. So there you go. Yeah, it's very possible that this is something that you can order here in the future, right? And you can totally now make your 21 Bronco or your 22 standard trim, not a Raptor or an Everglades. You can make it uniquely yours. So, yep. Let's see here. I'm a big fan of the squared off fender, not the snorkel. Yeah. So the snorkel is definitely something that not everyone is going to like. I get it. To me, if it's a weekend vehicle, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. To me, would I drive it with a snorkel? I absolutely would. But I don't know if it would be that everyday driver for me, right? So in the everyday driver, I'm probably not going to opt for one with a snorkel. So I do agree with that zombie salamander, which is, by the way, that name, man. I'll never forget it. Yeah, hopefully before it make a front faster fin to square it off without the snorkel. So I think they will. I think this is going to be an option. If you think about the Raptor without it, of course, that's completely different, but it should bolt to the overall structure of the Bronco. I don't think anything else is changing. I do like the fact that, and now it's starting to make sense why the quarters unbolt, right? Because I can start to imagine now maybe the bigger picture was that it's not just going to be fenders for trail riding that you can unbolt and put on your, carbon fiber or plastic or whatever other fenders for your trail riding, right? Or you don't want to beat them up with rocks or whatever the case may be. It's a lot of work to do it. I think now it's more of a design, it's more of a customization, and it's that modularity that they designed into the Bronco that now, as these future trims come out, as long as the overall design and specs of the Bronco structure doesn't change, you can bolt on those type. So, can you make your Bronco look like a Raptor in the future? I guess it's totally possible. I don't really know. I think about the Mustang. Think about all the parts and pieces that are available. There was a Mustang not too long ago that looked just like a GT 500, and if it wasn't for the sound of it, you wouldn't have known. But when you heard it, you knew it was not. It definitely was not the 760 horsepower beast. So, but yeah, it's some pretty cool stuff. Like I said, being able to make these Broncos uniquely yours is very cool. So let's go back through this here. Let's see one more time through these pictures. And there again, thank you to Bronco Nation for these pictures. They're pretty awesome. You can go over to their website and check it out. They have a really good article on the Everglades. And of course, that's where the information is getting out to pretty quickly. So the updates, I think, will start to happen pretty quick right after Christmas. If you think about the Q1 22, that's when a lot of the stuff is going to happen. Building price, the more of the specs. I think there's stuff we don't know about it, obviously, that we know the core things about it. And why would they tell us now? Now anyway, you want to keep that surprise. You want to keep that motivation for people to buy here right when they're ready to release it. And I think a lot of us, would have a Raptor. We would buy an Everglades, but just my humble opinion, you got to leave something. You got to leave something unsaid to sweeten the deal in the very end. So I like the drip of information though, because it keeps look, we're talking about it right now. I did a video on it earlier, and I don't know, there's something about it. The snorkel doesn't drive me crazy, but I think I just think it's really cool, right? I just think it's really cool. So we'll see what happens. I'll look at some of the comments here. And by the way, I do appreciate the comments here tonight. By the way, do you have someone that you would like for me to interview or talk to on our show? If you have any ideas, any other YouTubers out there, someone that has that unique experience, maybe they're doing things a little bit different. You really like them, you follow their content. Hey, put their name in the comments. I'd like to know somebody that you would like me to reach out to and bring them on and kind of trade ideas back and forth and talk about what they're doing. I've reached out to a couple people this week, and we'll see where that goes too. So let's see what else do we have going. Yep, there's no way I'll be rolling up a computer into deep water. Yeah, part of this is how much of it is for, do you need a snorkel to go to the mall? Nope. But if you're actually going to use this Bronco off road and in the wild, it's possible. I mean, look at some of the videos that we've actually seen. Some of these Broncos are being just, run hard. And I don't know, but I just think for me, it'll be very hard for me to take my Bronco and to do what I've seen done in some of these, but it's going to get dirty. Don't get me wrong. It's not, I didn't get it for the pavement. But also am not going to go bury it in water. If I bury my Bronco in water, it's because we had a bad day and some bad, some bad. Let's look at some of it. They're making the fiberglass ones that don't resemble doing what they did. Yep, cool. So, Hey, by the way, we're going to add in some Maverick stuff here. My dealer has the Maverick coming in, and there's a weird situation there, so we'll see how it works out. But maybe I'll get to drive it. We'll see. That'll be pretty cool. Not bad for the Bronco channel. I'd also want to mention to you that we have something cool coming up for January 1. And I think it's going to make, if you, whatever brand of vehicle that you like, it is going to be very cool. So please check that out. I think we're going to do a live stream on New Year's Eve. Um, I don't expect a lot of people will be watching it because, hey, you'd be doing whatever. But if you're not doing anything on New Year's Eve, we'll probably be here, and I'm probably going to live stream through, New Year's. So we'll see what happens with that. The Maverick, for example. And before I go Maverick, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about the Maverick before I say this. Everglades. So I was reading an article over the weekend, and it talked about trademarks and patents and things like that. And I think in particular trademark. And it looks like that at least the application was pretty broad. This Everglades may get used in other Ford models as well. And if that's the case, I could just start to think about Expedition, Explorer, F-250, F-150. I mean, the sky's the limit, right? So we'll see where that goes. But the Everglades trim in the Bronco, I think it's definitely reaching a certain group of people out there. And there again, in other trim levels, it may do the same. So if they do something like that, it would be absolutely cool. But we'll go from there. Snorkels also be used to reduce dust. Yeah. So CC, very good. So as that snorkel, the higher it is, there's still some dust there, but there's less larger aggregate, right? And the gravity, so there's less of the big stuff that high up, but there is still a lot of dust. And that's where the good air filters and things like that's really going to help. I would say that, that the snorkel in the dust and the small gravel and everything is definitely going to help. So we'll see. I think it's cool design. I think it's cool that they did it. And period. I mean, you look at all the fun stuff happening right now around Bronco. It's just is cool to see it. Now I get it. Hang in there. These things are rolling out. 22's getting cranked up, and providing there's no other issues, you're going to have a 12 months of production in 22. And I think that is going to be huge for everyone getting these Broncos. It's going to be pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I think the Maverick content, getting back to that, we will definitely talk about the Maverick because it's such a cool vehicle. When you look at it, it's bringing a lot of car people to Ford that they liked other brands, right? Smaller cars. It's bringing a lot of people over for that. Then it's taken people that didn't care what brand of vehicle they bought, but they like the idea. It feels in one way like a car, but think about it. It's wider than a Ranger, and it has a pickup bed on it. And depends on the trim you go with. You can haul, I think it's 4,000 pounds or 4,500 pounds or 43, something like that. There again, I need to do the research for it, but that's pretty stout. I mean, that's, the Bronco, because the suspension's 3,500. I think, the frame and the engine driveline obviously can tow more, but the suspension itself is, so part of the rating's 3,500. But the Maverick is a cool vehicle. So I think that Ford really right now they're on top of their game. I mean, I'm excited. I'm thinking the other day, I don't know if you heard this. Now this is going to be for more content that we're doing right after the first of the year, where Ford has partnered with Salesforce.com on their commercial vehicles. Say your F-150, your Transit, your work style vans, that you can subscribe to the Salesforce, which is one of absolutely the best companies out there for running your business through. But they're going to have a subscription-based service and using the Ford software that you're going to be able to plug in your laptop and run your business from your vehicle in a way that is not done now. That's thinking like I had no idea that was coming, and I'm sure competition didn't either. So there's some cool stuff, and maybe that's not your thing. You don't, run the business or have a need for it. I get it, but I'm just saying, look at the example of all the cool stuff that's out there, and I'm just amazed. And so, what's next? Who knows? We'll see. So, but anyway, the Bronco stuff is actually pretty cool. Hi from Windsor. Okay, Windsor, where? Canada, Virginia, or somewhere? I don't know. But hello from Chesapeake. Um, Trying to go back through some of these comments here. I want to see what you guys are talking about. Somebody mentioned Johnny here. Johnny Car Care, Coderin, they have Maverick stuff too. Yeah, both excellent channels, by the way. If you haven't checked out Coderman or Johnny's Car Care in Review, I highly recommend their channels. Great stuff there. Yep, definitely pretty cool. So the snorkel would be good for the Baja Trail. Christopher, we're talking about that. Yeah, I think, and I didn't mention it earlier. Sorry, whoever mentioned that. Thank you for doing it. The dust portion of, it definitely helps. And like I said, it's the larger particles, right, that gravity tries to keep down close to the ground, but you're going to get flying dirt. It's just less of it, right? And if you have a Bronco now, pop the hood and kind of look at how the Bronco breathes now. If you raise the hood, you'll notice that on the passenger side is the air intake for the engine. If you look just inside of the air intake, there is a flapper that if you ever get a gulp of water, it'll tend to drop most of the water out of that flapper and go down. But across the shroud, kind of the shroud over the radiator and the intercooler, you can tell how the Bronco actually brings in, it looks like from me, I'm looking at it, more of the air from the driver's side, brings it across that channel and then into the passenger side. I don't know why they did that way, and I'm sure it brings some across the grill as well, but most of it is from that channel. I think the snorkel now starts to, well, if you increase the grill size on it, and we'll see how much air the thing moves. I have no idea what velocity that they're working with and CFMs, but the snorkel just seems to be maybe for performance, it's going to do better. We'll see. I don't know. It's definitely something to check into. And the idea, obviously, keeping, we talk about oil changes all the time. And part of renovating our garage is we're getting it ready to start shooting some videos in the garage. One of which is going to be an oil change video, but I'm not going to bore you with the basics. There's going to be some information in there that I haven't seen it anywhere else. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. But when you get into the performance side of these Broncos, looking at the air filtration, which has not been a subject talked about, I have a line on a air filter that I think we're going to switch over to. And it's very critical that whenever you change anything in an engine, like I said, I love the Motorcraft part line, so I'm using Motorcraft filters for sure. Our first oil change, we'll see what we're doing on the oil there, and then you'll see as the engine gets a little bit older, things change. But the air filter itself is, who knows, maybe we look at doing a aftermarket like a K&N. Something that we can add the oil to that helps to hold the small particles. And as long as it seals in that air box tightly all the way around, because we're looking for no dust. Now, the Motorcraft filters are great, by the way. I use them in all the Fords that we have. It's all Motorcraft filters, oil and air. So, but, the fitment of the filter, I guess, in that air box is critical so that you don't have any leakage or very little leakage. So you want all that dirty air to be filtered. Think about these turbos can't stand a whole lot of that, right? The compressor wheel in that turbo needs to have clean air. And it's giving you a lot and it's going through a lot. So we need to keep the air going to it clean. So air filters in the Bronco is going to be very critical as well. It is in any engine, but I would say in the boosted stuff that it's even more critical. So I hear you. So what do we got going on in the comments here? So the snorkel will be good for the Baja Trail. We just talked about that. Do you think the Everglades will be a standalone trim or an add-on to existing trim? So I think overall that, with the Everglades Bronco coming out, I think it could potentially open a door to other trims as well. Now, when I say trims, other models, right? Not trim of Broncos. I think it'll be exclusive. The Everglades. There'll be a few different colors to select from. Um, who knows what the future products will be? Maybe in 23 there's the Heritage, or maybe there's something else. And I think that's the fun of it. Each year you're getting one or maybe two. Um, extra trims. So I just think that's what keeps this that's what keeps the Bronco fever. Well, I say it's alive and well for most of us, but it keeps the new people coming in, because maybe someone doesn't see what they like now, and then suddenly they see the Everglades and say, "Oh, that's it. I'm doing it." For whatever reason, the comfort, the ease, I shouldn't say the comfort, but the ease of the winch, or the coolness about, and the effectiveness of the snorkel. Those are some of the things, and then it'll be something else next year. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm still holding out for the Bronco truck. I know it's been mothballed for now, but has it been put on the shelf forever? I don't think so. I think it's we'll go there. Hey, I see you guys are talking about cats on here. I'm trying to figure out how that came up. I do have the rogue cat that runs across these live streams, but I think she's like preoccupied right now. You can take the head off the snorkel and turn it face the rear for dust control. I have no idea about the snorkel on the Bronco itself. I mean, that's either something I don't, or it's a heck of a good idea. Either way, it makes sense. Now, under under high speeds, maximum performance, I could see some airflow issues with that. But I mean, it's not like you're going to be at Talladega trying to break 200. So probably something you would never notice, right? Yeah, somebody gets mice in their air filter. So you want to hear a crazy story? So we built a new house a few years ago, and well, the house we're in, there was a hole in the foundation that I was running a conduit out to feed power to an outside building, and we had to go through the permitting process for that. And so I left this hole there. I didn't want to fill it in with mortar. Well, I should have put something in that hole. Well, guess what? Some mice got into the garage through that hole. I had a GT 500 Mustang. They decided to make a nest under the engine, in the engine compartment, under the hood. Yeah. And so I got in my car and cranked it up one day, and the RPMs just, I don't know what it went to, but I immediately cut it off, popped the hood, and yeah, I found all that. That was nice. So I learned a lesson. Seal all the holes up. Don't leave anything. It was the first cold winter. Yeah, whatever. So actually pretty crazy. Daggone mice. They get expensive. A two-door Bronco truck would be amazingly cool. It would be. You think about that. I think, you think, well, four-door and the truck, but at some point, the two-door, by the way, Bronco's really growing on me. The two-door Sasquatch is just a cool looking trim by itself. But think about a two-door with the little bed on the back. So it doesn't keep growing. It's still manageable, but I think the cool factor there, yeah, it's pretty steep. Yeah, I really do. I think it's really good. Let's see here. Let's go back some of these. So, hey, anyone, if you think about someone that you would want, even if it's later on, just come back to the comments and post it in there. I do have a couple people that we have reached out to this week. We'll see what happens with that. So, but hey, we're love bringing in the new Bronco content, and as we start to get ours dirty and do more stuff with it, it's going to be fun. So, but I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I appreciate everyone joining me or joining us, Gavin and I. He has to go off to bed a little early on Sunday night, but I really appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. Thank you for the super sticker, by the way. Flo, thank you very much. Let's see. Try to interview YouTube. Okay, I will look into that. I will look into that and see if I think it's a fit and reach out to him as well. Yep, and the two-door, just the tailgate, would look like a little truck. I agree. Imagine, just like I said, the cool factor of the turning radius on this little thing is just, yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, Ernie, thank you very much. I appreciate the nice comment there. Yeah. So anyway, hey, we're out. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to this every Sunday night at 8 p.m. I really do. It's part of our schedule at our week, and I look forward to being here. And so, if you do as well, check us out next week. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit like on this live stream and hit that bell icon. We are trying to break 1,600 subscribers tonight. That would be awesome if we could, and have some big plans for the end of the year. We'll announce that next week, and we'll go from there. Airplane Mike, thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Mike Max, Ernie Fudd, Mike on Raw. There we go. Flo, Mike Max. Again, Zombie Salamander, Chris, CC, Mike Max. And I know forget someone. I'm not going all the way up the comments. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. And we're out. Have a great, productive week. Be safe.